Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's second video, doing the ENSO update for today's second video. Now, we did the weekend forecast earlier on, of course. You can find the video to that on the home page, and there's also a written version which you can get through via the buttons at the top of the page. Going to be quite an unsettled week coming up once again. So this is the latest ENSO update for May 2016. We can't really call this an El Nino update because we're rapidly coming out of El Nino now. We haven't yet gone into La Nina. So let's say this is May's ENSO update. We're going to see what's going on in the equatorial Pacific Ocean from Peru to Indonesia. We've got various things to look at for this month. It's a bit of a bumper edition, so I hope you bear with it. I'm going to be here for quite a while, but I want to get everything in for this month that I've been thinking about over the past few weeks. So we're going to look at the SOI, we're going to look at subsurface temperature anomalies as well as sea surface temperature anomalies. We're going to have a look at some modelling as well. So loads to be going on with, and I'll get on with all of it in a second. Before I get on with that though, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all the pages. Have a browse through widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks very much for doing that. There's video ads on most of the pages which open out the content. When you watch them, they'll close back up again, and it helps to pay for GazOffice.com. So thanks so much for getting involved, and thanks for doing that. Going to start off with this chart. We'll be looking at this quite a lot. This is the warm and cold, or cold and warm episodes by season chart from NOAA. Now, we've been looking at this a lot over the past few months. It's these red numbers in the boxes that have been indicating El Nino, which started at the beginning of 2015. There's the date, the year just there, 2015. So that's when we started El Nino, and it carried on through the year, became a very, very strong event, as we know, almost the strongest on record. These are the latest numbers for 2016. And actually, we do have a new number in the box, which is this one, plus 1.6. So this is the sea surface temperature anomaly for the tri-monthly period. Let's have a look at what the tri-monthly period is. It's February, March, April. Came out at 1.6. You see how we're reducing these anomalies now. The first tri-monthly period was 2.2, second tri-monthly period 1.9, and now we're down to 1.6. So this is starting to unravel the El Nino. The last time we was as high as this, for this tri-monthly period, was 1998. In fact, we're higher again than this point in 1998. So the tri-monthly period, February, March, April 1998, came out at 1.4, whereas we know we've come out at 1.6 for the February, March, April tri-monthly period of 2016. So this has been ongoing for the past few tri-monthly periods. We continue to beat the 97-98 El Nino event. Whether this El Nino event of 2015-2016 was stronger than the 97-98 event, which is the strongest El Nino on record, whether it was, I don't know. But it's certainly up there with the very strongest of those El Nino. I've got to be honest, I don't know whether this was the strongest ever recorded El Nino. I'm sure we'll hear from NOAA in due course to tell us. But whatever, it's certainly, if it's not the strongest, it's almost the strongest El Nino event ever recorded. But it's unravelling now. We've got to go off and see where things go next. So this was the sea surface temperature anomaly map from NOAA last month when we did April's update. This was from the 21st of April. And this is the area we're interested in, of course. This is showing us the whole of the world's ocean. So we've got the Atlantic over here, we've got the North Pacific here, we've got the South Pacific here, and we've got the Indian Ocean over here. Right, so this is the area that we're interested in. We're interested in the area from Peru, which is just here, through to Indonesia, which is just here, and specifically this area along the equator. So back in April, what we had going on was a bit of a cooling taking place over towards the Peruvian side of the ENSO region, but otherwise generally still just about a signature for El Nino. Let's see what the latest anomaly looks like, and this is it. And basically what's happened is that the cooler sea surface temperature anomalies have expanded. across the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. Now, this is not yet La Nina. There's not enough blue, and it's not intense enough to be a La Nina event. It's not a cold event yet, but clearly we're trending out of a warm event. We have trended out of a warm event during the past month, and we are back towards neutral, and possibly even going a bit towards the negative side of neutral. But there's not enough there yet to say that we are in La Nina, and there's not enough to say that we're going to go into a La Nina, because what I'd like to see is cold sea surface temperature anomalies gathering in this sort of area. And whilst we do have some cooler sea surface temperature anomalies just here, and it is an expansion in that area compared to last month. That's last month going through to this month. It's a bit of an expansion of those cold sea surface temperature anomalies. There isn't enough blue yet to suggest that we are definitively going into La Nina. However, I think we probably are trending in that sort of direction. The subsurface sea surface temperature, the subsurface temperature anomalies, I should say, perhaps tell us a little bit more than the sea surface temperature anomaly. So this is the latest one just here. This is from the CPC, NCEP and NOAA.gov website. This is their PDF, and this gets updated every month, or every week I should say, and it's very, very interesting. You find a link to this on the links page. I don't often use this, but there's so much information that you get from this PDF. As I say, it's updated every week, so do check it out if you get the chance. So this, what we're looking at just here, is the subsurface temperature anomalies underneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. And this blue area here is the cold anomaly that's gathering at depth underneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. So you can actually run down the depth. So this is virtually at the surface just here, and you see that we do still have some warmer anomalies just there, and we've got the cooler anomaly that we know is beginning to evolve in the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean over towards the Peruvian side, and that's indicated just here. But you see how we go through the depths of the ocean, and that's indicated just here. You can see how the cold or the cool anomalies gather as you go lower down. So we have got quite a big area of cold water here underneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. And if we have a look at this chart over here on the right hand side as you're looking at it, that actually shows you how these cold anomalies under the surface have been evolving over the past few weeks, how they've been gradually expanding and getting bigger. So this is the first week back in the 19th of March. And you can see then the cold subsurface temperature anomaly was like that, with quite a lot of warmth still at the surface. We go down to April. This is the 3rd and the 18th of April. You can see that over the month, those cold anomalies just expanded and came closer towards the surface actually through the course of the first half of April, and then we can go through to the latest, which is the 3rd of May, or I should say the one before the latest, what we were just looking at a few moments ago, which is just here. And again you can see a clear expansion of this cold subsurface water, and definitely rising up to the surface in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific. So over the past few weeks, quite clearly, we have been seeing this cold body of water underneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean gradually expanding and pushing up towards the surface. And I say this is the latest. This is where we are right now, with a lot of cold water or cold anomalies underneath the surface of the equatorial Pacific, and some of that is moving towards the top now, and we can just see it on this chart actually. That is the cold subsurface water beginning to rise up towards the top of the surface of the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. But underneath all of this, just here, all of this where we've got yellow, it is pretty cold now underneath the surface. It hasn't yet risen up towards the top, but there's a lot of cold water waiting under there. So are we going to move towards a cold event? Is all of that cold subsurface water going to push up into the equatorial Pacific Ocean, or the surface of the equatorial Pacific Ocean? One of the things we've got to do is turn the SOI, the Southern Oscillation Index, positive. So this is from the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia. This is the daily SOI index. This is preliminary, it isn't a final word on the matter, but you can see that back on the 20th of April, so back when we did the last update, we were still very, very negative with the SOI, minus 45 there. And this is a reflection of the atmospheric setup between Darwin and Tahiti in the Southern Ocean. So when the atmospheric setup is showing a negative SOI, it tells you that the atmosphere is reflecting El Nino, essentially. To get an El Nino event, as we've had, we need the oceans and the atmosphere to couple up, and when they couple up, they produce these El Nino events. And the El Nino signature in the atmosphere was continuing quite strongly into April. Now, we go through to May, and we have seen the SOI going quite positive for a time during May. So the 7th, 8th, 9th of May, we go to plus 18, plus 18, plus 24, plus 10, quite strongly positive, and that is telling us that the atmosphere in the Southern Ocean between Darwin and Tahiti is very gradually starting to reflect more of a La Nina state. However, as we scroll down, you see we still haven't definitively gone towards positivity of the SOI. So, for example, the 13th of May, we come out at minus 1, and then just recently, the 18th of May, minus 13, and the 19th of May, minus 15. Those are still pretty negative numbers, and the atmosphere at the moment in the Southern Ocean, the atmosphere appears to be swinging between a weekly La Nina state and a weekly El Nino state. So we haven't definitively flipped the atmosphere into a La Nina, and we'll know when we have definitively flipped the atmosphere into a La Nina setup in the Southern Ocean, because we will get consistent and very positive numbers. We haven't got that yet. We did get it a little bit earlier in May, as I say, just here, but we haven't yet definitively flipped the atmosphere into a La Nina setup in the Southern Ocean. And whilst we're still getting swings from El Nino to La Nina in the atmosphere, we're going to struggle to generate the El Nino in the ocean. So all that cold water got underneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, we know it's there, but we're going to struggle to rise that up to the top and really lock in a La Nina event, a cold event, until the atmosphere and the oceans start to couple up. So I'm going to show you 3 years, 3 of the most recent years, where we did get the flip from El Nino to La Nina through the summer. So this is from the 19th of May, 1998. We know that 1997, 1998 is, at the moment, the strongest El Nino ever recorded. And at this point in May, we can see we're still basically in an El Nino setup, particularly towards the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific. Still very reflective of El Nino there, with those red sea surface temperature anomalies. So we hadn't yet gone into a cold event. The cold event did come along very soon after this, and we had got some cold water beginning to gather around Indonesia, and crucially, notice all of this cold sea surface temperature anomalies down here to the south of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. That's very, very reflective of a La Nina on the way, and very soon after this point, we did go into a cold event. So this is from the 18th of July 1998, so just a couple of months on, and you can see then quite clearly we've got a La Nina getting going through the central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, still trying to hang on to El Nino over towards Peru, but this cold water here is very, very indicative of a La Nina event. The next year that we went from Nino to Nina was in 2007, and this is the chart from NOAA from the 21st of May 2007, and notice how cold the equatorial Pacific Ocean was at this point, and also going down here towards Chile, loads of cold anomalies. So already by this point in 2007 we was firmly in the grips of a cold event. It's quite obvious where this is going, and up here as well. So you pretty much was already there in a La Nina event by the middle of May 2007. That's a very, very rapid flip, of course, from Nino to Nina. Next year that I would like to look at is 2010. This is the last time we had the flip from El Nino to La Nina. And again, at this point in 2010, this is 20th of May 2010, we can see quite clearly the signature of La Nina is beginning to get going there. And again, all of these cold sea surface temperature anomalies going down towards Chile, to the south of the equatorial Pacific. That is indicative of the El Nino developing. And of course up here as well we've got cold sea surface temperature anomalies to the north of the equatorial Pacific also. So quite clearly this is going to go into a La Nina event. Now if we compare this to what's going on at the moment, you can see that whilst we have got this small area of cooler sea surface temperature anomalies just here, we don't really have that mass of cold sea surface temperature anomalies to the south of the equatorial Pacific that I like to see to definitively tell me that we're going into a cold event. So this is a very difficult one to call. Are we going to get this La Nina event or not? Let's see what the models are suggesting. We'll start with CFS V2, and this is the latest forecast from the CFS. So the black line here is where we've been through the central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. This black dashed line here is where the model is forecasting us to go. Dates are on the bottom, anomalies or temperatures anomalies are on the side. So quite clearly the model is predicting a drop in temperature below average. This is average just here, so we're going to go into some sort of cold event through the course of this summer. This is July just here, by which time a model is taking us down to around -1 Celsius as the temperature anomaly in the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean through the central part. So this is going down into a La Nina. To get a La Nina, we have to go below -0.5 just here. We have to go to that or below it. We're going to do that by the look of it, but we aren't going much below. We aren't going into a strong La Nina. No suggestion of that at all. No suggestion that we're going down into that sort of zone. Not even really going into moderate La Nina territory. For that, we'd be going down towards here. We're just going into a weak La Nina, be the look of it, through the course of this summer. And then generally staying in a weak La Nina type condition in towards the end of the year. This is January 2017, just here. This is how last month's update was looking, and very much in line, really, with what we're seeing at the moment. So last month, the suggestion again was to go into a weak La Nina. So a weak cold event, yes, but only a weak one. And we see on the latest chart that very much in line with what we was looking at from last month. So yes, it looks like we're going to go into a La Nina event, but this doesn't at the moment look like it's going to be a strong event. It doesn't look like it's going to be a moderate event. It's not a 1998 La Nina or a 2007 or a 2010 La Nina, all of which were strong, moderate to strong events. This one looks really quite a weak event, certainly on the CFS V2. ECWF is very similar. Again, this is the forecast here with these red lines. So again, got the dates on the bottom, temperature anomalies on the side. By the summer, we're down into this sort of territory just here. So we're going down towards a weak La Nina, but we aren't again dropping below a sort of weak La Nina territory. We're not going into that sort of section just here, which would be moderate to strong. So the ECMWF is in line with CFS-V2 in seeing, yes, a change to La Nina, and quite a rapid change from where we've been to where we are by the time we get through to July. Big drop does take place there, of course. This is where we've been, up here. So this is a very big drop. I don't want to downplay what's happening. This is a very big change from this really strong El Nino that's been going on into a weak La Nina. But it doesn't look like a very strong cold event is getting going at this stage. And then the Jamstec IOD, this is the latest forecast from Jamstec, and it's all in line with the other models. Really, the blue line just here is where we've been. Red line, excuse me, where Jamstec is forecasting us to go. And again, we're dropping down into this sort of territory just here, which is sort of weak La Nina. It is a cold event, but it's only a weak cold event. Again, dates along the bottom of the chart. We can have a look at how Jamstec predicted some past El Nino to La Nina transition. So this is from May 2007, when we was already going in towards quite a strong La Nina event. And, well, interestingly, the model was only going for a moderate event at that point in May 2007. It's only seeing sort of a weak, maybe borderline moderate La Nina event then. And this eventually, by the time we got through to the end of 2007, ended up looking like this, a much stronger event than the model was predicting. So again, there we are in May 2007. That's where we ended up, with a much stronger La Nina event. Then 2010, this is May 2010, the forecast was for quite a moderate La Nina at that time, going down into this sort of territory. So that's quite a moderate La Nina being predicted by Jamstec in May 2010. It eventually finished up like this, even stronger than the model was predicted, but not as much in it as we had in 2007. So it's possible that the models are downplaying the La Nina and it's going to be stronger than they are expecting. I wouldn't rule out that possibility, but at the moment it looks like the general consensus amongst the modelling, and probably backed up by the lack of cold sea surface temperature in the southern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, is for a weak La Nina to be in place by the summer. Now, this is important for me, and it does give me quite a headache, because it has implications for the summer forecast, which I'm going to do next week. If we get a rapid transition into a strong La Nina, as we had in 1998, and in 2007, and in 2010, it implies quite a difficult summer to get a good summer going. However, if the La Nina is weaker, if it's just a transition, albeit quite rapid, into weak La Nina, makes it much more difficult to predict what the summer's going to do, because it isn't ENSO neutral, and these years that have summers going from El Nino just to neutral, 1983, 2003, are two such years. Those coincide with pretty hot summers. But we are going into a La Nina, it's just a weak one. So it does make it very, very difficult for me, I'm afraid, for this summer forecast. Well, I'm sure you're not all that worried about it. It's difficult for me. It isn't a problem for you. Sorry, I made myself laugh there. But it is tricky for me to pin down what's going to happen this summer. And I'll be doing the summer forecast next week, of course. And talking of summer, tomorrow I'll have some seasonal models for you to look at to see what they are showing for the summer. But, well, I hope you enjoyed this extended ENSO update. It's been quite a long one. Let's see how long it's been. It's been 25 minutes nearly. So, summing it all up, we have finished with El Nino. We can say that definitively. That's gone. It's over. It was probably it was one of the strongest on record. It may have been the strongest El Nino ever recorded. We'll wait for NOAA to opinion on that. It's gone. It's finished. It's history. It's finito. That's it. End of El Nino. it's just a question of where we go next. It looks like we're going to go into La Nina, but probably only a weak one. The models could be underplaying it though, so I think the next couple of updates, June and July, actually will be critical as to whether these models are underplaying the cold event or not. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a weak La Nina. Quite what that's going to mean for the summer, we have to come back next week on Sunday, the final Sunday of May, to find out in the summer forecast. Right, that's all for now. As I say, it's the summer seasonal model roundup, the final one, final one tomorrow. Come back for that in the morning. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.